begins in the infamous city of Bilgewater, a treacherous, pirate-infested port town known for its grim reputation. PYKE is a young man who works as a butcher in the Blood Harbour district, where crime is a daily thing. I guess you're smart enough to understand why such a place would gather this name. But the meat he works on is not from cattle's or sheep's. Here, PYKE dissects and processes the carcasses of terrifying marine creatures, hunted down by other sailors. However, the boy quickly grows disillusioned with his mundane job, as he witnesses the corrupt nature of the trade. The ships delivering the monster corpses receive large bags of gold as payment, while he is forced to leave on with meager wages. Fueled by a burning desire for wealth and recognition, PYKE decides to abandon his job, searching fortune elsewhere. He seeks to be recruited on a legendary ship, the Terra, rumored to be wandering the treacherous waters which surround the city. After enduring numerous trials, PYKE is finally accepted into the crew. He quickly proves himself as a true professionist, known for his unwavering resolve, the coordination with his companions, and an atypical hunting technique. Inspired by the population on the Serpent Isles, PYKE adopts a daring method of facing his prey head-on with just a harpoon and a rope secured to the ship's hull, engaging in brutal close-quarters combat. He became renowned for his ability to extract valuable organs from all kinds of rare animals, turning them into highly sought-after commodities in the black market. Animals that are still alive when their innards are removed. Fresh meat is always the most valuable for the true monstrosities, I guess. One such animal is the yawl fish, called like that because of the grip of its bite. A massive and elusive sea creature which contains sapphirite gemstones and luminescent blue oil. While the first ingredient was used in order to create distillates when given to the right mages, the second was researched for its incredible value and mysterious properties. During a particularly treacherous chase for an old and colossal jawfish, PYKE is able to subdue the prey and start the painful process to extract the precious materials, which are carved directly from the inside the behemoth's mouth. But a lowering and gurgling mumble erupts from its throat. Suddenly the crew find themselves surrounded by a swarm of jawls. The situation quickly turns dire as the ship is ravaged, leaving them on the brink of disaster. To PYKE's shock and betrayal, the captain, driven by desperation, cuts the rope that secures PYKE to the hull, abandoning him stranded amidst the raging waters. The man is swallowed whole by the one he was hunting, his fate sealed within immense teeth. In deep waters, pressure alone is enough to crush human lungs. Anyway, this was evidently not the case. Instead of succumbing to his grave, PYKE awakens within the belly of the beast, surrounded by ethereal azure lights and haunting whispers. The blue oil he had bathed before being engulfed, or the will of a mysterious entity, changed his fate forever. Just one thought was clear as the sky so distant from him: vengeance against those who betrayed him. Fueled by his thirst, PYKE escapes its prison and returns to Bilgewater. Only half dead, the once human had developed phenomenal abilities, wandering as an incorporeal spirit in the eyes of mortals, a sharpening of his already acute senses and physical traits, the favor of a kind of magic never seen before. The undead sailor embarks on a relentless killing spree, targeting those responsible for his departure and the ship captains related to them. At first, the murders go unnoticed in the lawless city, where violence and death are common occurrences. However, as the bodies pile up, rumors spread about a vengeful sailor who hunts down and kills entire crews, leaving no survivors behind. The legend of the Butcher of the Blood Harbour is born. PYKE's legend grows, and bounties of over 1,000 golden kraken are placed on his head, but it is uncommon to see him, at least before it's too late. Strange though, the same thing can't be said about the Terra. No remains are found after the incident. On the naval registry, this very name is nowhere to be found. Is Terra's crew doing anything in order to hide from their former member? Or is there something more going on? I mean, you know what they tell? The sea does strange things to a person's mind. In any case, PYKE's targets expand beyond ship captains, including officers, merchants, and anyone involved in Bilgewater's illicit activities. That's why his path intersects with notorious figures like Gangplank and Misfortune. whose names also find their way onto his ever-growing list. At one point, he will start a destructive fight with Ilaloi, a Baru priestess of the goddess Nagakaburos, which is following misfortune into an abroad mission. They have a confrontation that culminates in a traditional trial, where the soul of Ilaloi's adversary is judged by Nagakaburos herself before the final blow. Usually, the soul of the unfortunate one who falls under Ilaoi prowess is purged, but, unexpectedly, PYKE's spirit is deemed worthy of a second chance. As a result, the haunting voices in his head gradually fade away. His soul is purified. As first reaction, a shocked PYKE escapes from the battleground, confused by the happenings. When the harpooner understands he is again master of his own mind, he decides to set off to find Ilaloi, in order to receive explanations. PYKE finds her aboard a ship, the beautiful woman, captained by Misfortune, who is accompanied by other adventurers, such as the mysterious Yasuo. PYKE is more lucid after this second encounter, and decides to put aside his divergence with the captain, in order to unite against a greater threat, for now. The group embarks on a journey to the Shadow Isles in order to find Yasuo's friend, Ari, and investigate the imminent return of a fallen king named Viego. Ilaloi's deity wants the monarch stopped, while the mighty hero Braum is there to give his contribution to contrast the sufferance of the ruler's people. PYKE, motivated by his bloody vendetta against those who he sees as corrupted, joins the group to hunt down the crazed Viego. After a successful mission that leads to Viego's downfall and imprisonment, PYKE remains unsatisfied, determined to erase that name from his list.
Warm other means, Captain. Big beast, big payday. Your summons damned me, Ilaoi. Oh, it's for fancy dead folk. No more captains. Let's see if you got guts as big as your guns. I don't like you. I like them less. I get mine, you get yours. Crews share the wealth. Part of the kill, part of the gold. Sleep. No thrashing. Sleep. Drink it in. Oh, rest now. Sink with me. Welcome to the abyss. Butcher's bill came due. Finally quit kicking. Another name off the list. Welcome to the water. Too sunk. I work better with a crew. Lure 'em in. I got no blind spots. Keeps the fog away. Can't lose sight of them. Light in the deep. Like an angler shark. Kill with one eye open. Leave him in the dark. Darker than a captain's soul. Blind him. Sun don't shine here no more. Salt in their eyes. Cut the strings before they can pull them. Death keeps spitting me right back out. I was born where monsters die. I died where monsters are born. Ain't no high ground high enough, not for the storm that's brewing. We're already drowning. All we got to do is open our mouths and let the water in. Beds ready! The rich man's a lion man. The lion man's a dying man. No one's honest till they get a knife in the gut. Every kill makes the voices louder, and I love what they're screaming. Went too deep. Part of me's still down there, swimming. I've killed a lot of monsters. None of them lived in the sea. Been to the bottom of the sea. Gets a little deeper each time. Keep a man down long enough, and the gutter becomes his kingdom.
Okay, let's stop with the Batman voice now. PYKE is described as a spectral assassin, standing around 180 centimeters with a muscular and lean physique. He was around 30 years old when he died. His skin is a dark brown hue, and his head bears deep scars. His eyes emit a bright blue glow, probably a side effect created by the oil he came in contact with. He wears a greenish verdant shoulder piece adorned with whole jaws of jewel fish. The white teeth fangs come back on his red bandana, loose sandy-colored pants held by a worn brown leather belt, and black leather boots with knee-high cuffs. Looking at him, you could say he never truly escaped his death. He also carries a large harpoon with a brass hilt and an ivory serrated blade. PYKE's personality is characterized as stoic, indifferent, and cold. However, he is driven by an uncontrollable force that often makes him ruthless and merciless. He believes that by eradicating those who wronged him, he can find peace and release himself from the haunting whispers and the curse that binds him to his mission. Despite this, he can cooperate and reason when necessary, displaying a more collaborative and rational side. Even if you couldn't tell from his voice lines, it is evident that PYKE's more of a crew guy than a lone wolf. He believes that a good work, if done together, needs to be divided in equal parts. That's a hint that, mostly freed from his folly, he could effectively work together with other individuals. He is Buru by mother part, and half Frigordian or Noxian peripheral by father part, even if it is not sure since the latter disappeared from his life when he was young. His favorite food is the salted pig paired along with red wine, corrected through some droplets of seawater. Since he is an undead created by other means, he is not subject to the control caused by the Shadow Isle mist. He is inspired by Pinocchio monsters, or the biblical myth of Jonah, Moby Dick, some movies such as It, Jaws, Friday the 13th, Halloween, and other video games characters such as Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, Thane Krios from Mass Effect. He clearly inspires Avatar 2 with its Tulkun. The version of PYKE we received was not the first one. Here on screen some early sketches of him. PYKE and Nautilus are often shown together, but their stories are not that close. Mostly the fan base put them together because their lore is quite similar, and it would be cool to see them join forces. Voices says that PYKE's obtained abilities are related to the Swimming City, a mysterious place continuously in movement, never in the same place. This quote seems to recall the motto of the Buru priestesses, according to which everything moves, like the waves of the sea. He even talked about it on some occasions. It is not clear if this city is true, maybe a sort of collective conscience shared by those touched by the aforementioned entity, or just a refuse of PYKE's mind, broken beyond repair. About that, PYKE may not be wary about the fact that Terra's manifesto has been altered in the course of the time. He has just glimpses of being manipulated by something superior, but he does not give this fact great weight. For him, it's probably not as important as his true objectives. The only certain memory is the days on the Terra, maybe just an illusion to keep him focused and active. From what we know, the same jawfish, so unknown in its abilities, may have led PYKE to madness, consciously influencing him to kill the ones who persecuted its species. Anyway, in the end, just one thing is certain. The list grows larger and larger after every murderer.
Welcome to the Swimming City.
Oh, yeah, not gonna discuss PYKE's skins, though they are
Bruh.